Straight dog talk and the song. Jump on in and speculate. Show up on time, don't be weak and late. We are community, so don't hate, and learn to cooperate.
What is going on, family? Hey, man, I really wanted to be home and doing what I always do, live from my studio, but, you know, sometimes things happen, man, and today's one of them times that it happens. So, without further ado, let me bring my co-host, Money Mizai. Let me bring him up here. What is going on, brother?
What's going on, fam? On the road again, ain't you?
Hey, man, you know how it is, bro. This time, honestly, it didn't have to happen. But, well, sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
That's right.
Today, we're going to do it a little different, man. Today, you're the one that's going to have to be reading on the screen, only because I'm driving. And I don't know how big them letters are going to be. If they're big enough where I can read them, I'll read them. But I'm going to ask you to do
well,
most
I hope
of the
everybody
reading.
forgives me. You do better with the names than I do. I can read the words, but the names are tough.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. Basically, man, tonight's live is all about, for some reason, I'm not seeing comments. It could be because I'm driving. Guys, don't worry. Kyle is coming in here any minute. As soon as he jumps in, he'll start putting the comments on, just in case. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the reasons that we got into breeding. Everybody has a different reason. And I was just talking to Mike about it. Even if you got into this for money, it's not necessarily the worst reason as to why you came into breeding. I know it's the wrong reason. I know it's, it shouldn't be the primary purpose or motivation. But think about it. If you came in to make money, you realize that this is a competitive atmosphere. And therefore, you have to up your game. You have to up your production. You need to have better dogs, better marketing, and better pictures in order to set yourself apart and be able to make your ultimate goal, which is to make money. Now, the reason I say that that's not the worst end-all, be-all excuse or reason to get in is because, first of all, I'm well aware that about 95% of the people get in because, they're trying to get into money. I mean, it just is what it is. But in addition to that, in the process of producing and selling pups and all that, they start falling in love with these dogs, man, because this breed is just a contagious breed, man. I mean, let's be honest. And I don't care if your heart's in the wrong place coming in. It's just a matter of time before the great majority of you are going to have your heart in the right place. I mean,
Well, here's the thing, Ro. Part of that to look at is this. Even if it's the money or whatever your motivation is, as long as you have, integrity and ethics, I mean, whatever's your driving force, whatever your motivation is, it's really okay. As long as you're prepared to be ethical and be professional and and you get humbled, because you're going to get humbled, and just push through and learn. But I mean, whatever your motivation is, it is what it is. And people need to know that, they need to know, like, hey, you're not the bad guy just because you're in this for money, as long as you're doing it right.
Right. Yeah.
Me personally, it's more than money for me, but I can't be mad at somebody. At the end of the day, no matter what title anybody puts on it, it is a business. And,
it is.
And people don't get into business without the money factor.
This is true. And not only that, a lot of times, in order for you to get your wife on board or significant other or whatever, a lot of times it comes down to you showing that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. The one thing I really don't like is whenever you get somebody that is, doing social media or whatever, and out of the blue, I'm gonna have to turn this, out of the blue, they're starting to get all high and high and mighty and moral and ethical on everybody else, because they sure as hell didn't get into this for the money. But yet, when you ask them how much are their puppies, oh yeah, they go for $5,000. Well, sorry to tell you, my friend, you might not have came in for the money, but at some point, this became a business. You're charging money for the dogs. You know what I'm saying? So, what I'm trying to get at is, yes, I agree that in a perfect world, you shouldn't come in exclusively for the money. However, this isn't a perfect world, and we are well aware that more than 95% of the people coming in are doing it because of the money. So, since these are the ingredients we have, let's make the best that we got out of it. How do we make the best out of it? Well, the best way I think that you can make it is learning, learning the breed. Whatever registry you're doing, you need to learn breed standard. You need to understand why dogs look a certain way versus why dogs look a different way in a different registry.
Absolutely, man. I mean, you've got to become a professional at your craft, whether it's about the money or not, whether it's the love of the dogs, whether it's just a matter of access that you have, and you say, hey man, I know the people, I can get into this, whatever the case may be. You got to be a professional at your craft. You're going to have to do the research. You're going to have to learn your stuff, or guess what? The people that are putting in that work, they're going to step right over you.
Absolutely, man. And what people don't realize coming in, irregardless, again, Mike, the reasoning as to why they came in, a lot of times what they don't realize is that the difference between themselves and a big breeder, or a breeder that's getting a lot of attention, right? A lot of times the difference is nothing more than knowing a little bit more about social media, knowing a little bit more about how to take pictures, how to set up stories in the long run, and that sort of thing. And so, like you said, you need to perfect your craft. I said years ago, I said it in a video and I said it in many lives, that you must be your dog's agent. And nothing could be more precise than that, in my opinion. And that's because a lot of times people will have a tendency, once they have a decent stud, to breed to any and everything that comes at you. Anyone that wants to breed to your stud, oh yeah, he's available, he's ready to go. I'm letting you guys know right now. You can definitely get away with studding to most females, but you don't want to find yourself studying to one of two things that are major. The first one is a female that's a complete train wreck, because it's just not going to be a good look. I don't care how you want to spin it. Second of all, okay, if the owner of the dog is a complete train wreck, if he or she is a scammer, if there are people that don't keep their word, whatever, the moment you do business with somebody, whatever that person does comes back and reflects back on you, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's people are like, well, if they come up with the money, they're good for the dog or whatever. And it's like, yeah, you say that, but you really got to vet these people. I'm going through that right now with this litter. It matters to me where my dogs go. Coming up with the money ain't enough. doesn't matter if it's my best litter, worst litter, first litter, last litter. It matters to me where these dogs go and what kind of environment they're going to be in. And so in order to find that out, you got to do a little digging, and you got to have some conversations with these people about the dogs, about their living environment. You know, are you planning to keep this dog outside? Do you have a facility? Do you have, like what how many kids are in the house? You know, is it you and your wife? Is it just you? I mean, do you work 3 jobs? I mean, I got to know all that stuff, because if you're just going to put
Well,
this dog on a chain and let it go
there's,
outside and have a heat stroke the
there's,
first year, I'm not interested in that.
wow.
And that's just it,
I don't
man.
know if I'm the one cutting out or if you are, Mike.
It's probably you, brother. But yeah, if everybody can still hear me, I'm sure y'all can. What I'm getting at is this: there's more responsibility than just producing a dog, and no matter how you look at it, as a breeder, you've got to vet. You've got to take a look at who these dogs are going to, and you got to make it your business, because just as soon as you just let the dog go somewhere and something happens, you're gonna feel some type of way when you get that call from a mutual friend or whatever, because they're like, "Man, you heard what happened to your puppy over there?" No, what happened? Yeah, man, he ran away and got ran over, and
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah,
it's all tough, man. But it's at the end of the day,
yeah.
like,
Well,
man,
you
maybe
know
I
what?
should have thought about it. Can you hear me,
Yeah,
Raul?
no, I couldn't agree with you more on what I can. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, there's a lag between us, but I can hear you.
Okay. So, one of the things that I have found with time, right, is having to disassociate myself from different people because of their business practices. It is unfortunate, but a lot of people have never owned an asset before. An asset
Right,
is anything that you can use, right? That either
right,
gains value or you can manage in a way where you can get money from. So definitely studying a dog or a well-bred dog, that's considered to be an asset. What happens is that asset doesn't have a buffer. Basically, it's the dog's manager is his owner. And a lot of times we'll fall in love with a dog and we don't realize that the owner of said dog is a freaking thief or a scammer or just not someone that you want to be associated with. And what's crazy about it is they come in all shapes and forms. That person that you thought couldn't hurt a fly is the same person that's backstabbing everybody or taking people's money and not providing a puppy, or taking people's money and not sending sperm when they got to, and that sort of thing. And so it is really important, especially when you gain some sort of popularity or foothold within the community, to really vet the people that you're associating yourself with. Because I could tell you, I could bring somebody on the live, and a week later, that person decides that they want to scam people out of their money. What do you think is going to happen? I'm getting a backlash from that as well. People are going to text me, call me, "Hey, Raul, that dude is a scumbag, and he took my money, and and I can't believe you even brought him on your show, and this and that." And so a lot of times I've had people hit me up and be like, "Hey, I no longer see you having I guess an internet relationship with such and such." Well, the thing with me is this, guys. I hold myself to my standard, right? Um, and those around me have to be able to be at my standard or higher. I cannot be associated with people that are going to bring down my brand. I've had people next to me that for 3 years nodded their head and said, yes, you need to do embarks whenever you're breeding Merle. And then it turned out that I did a Merle breeding with someone, studying my dog with preferential treatment, if you will. And this said person that sat here on my lives and repeated over and over again that you should embark before you breed Merles, decided they were going to be so greedy that they would not only not embark any dog in the litter, but including my keeper.
Right.
And so these are stories I don't sit here and tell you guys about or anything like that, because I really don't like going back and forth with the drama. If you notice, I'm not naming any names or doing anything like that. But immediately, it was an immediate disassociation. Did they steal my money? No, they didn't steal my money. But I realized that for 3 years, you were a fraud. For 3 years, you nodded until you thought you got what you wanted from me. And then once you got it, something as simple as a $100 embark test, even that couldn't be done because they needed to maximize their profit. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah, I've noticed
that
people, man, they'll ride you to the top, right? And they'll nod and agree and yeah, Raul, that's my guy, and blah. And then as soon as they feel like they got a leg to stand on of their own, and then it's like, man, you know, they lose all camaraderie, all respect, and all their integrity, man. I've seen it time and time again.
Well, they had if I gotta sit here, Mike, and I gotta fake the funk in front of everybody, and I gotta smooch the pooch, I gotta kiss your ass because I want something from you, I lost all of my morals and ethics, bro.
That's
the day comes, I'm gonna take something. I'm gonna think I take something from you, but after I take it and it's gone, I soon realize that the only person that lost in this transaction was me.
That's right.
Because in front of the whole world, here I am, a 51-year-old man or 40-year-old man or woman or whatever, and I'm kissing another 40-year-old man's ass. It's truly, truly, at least in my eyes, disappointing.
It is, man. I think it's really important for all people to focus at all times on keeping their character intact. You know, it matters to me what I do and don't do and who I do and don't associate with. I like to bring my people up, man. I like to shine, like my people to shine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, that's it. In reality, Mike, if you come out here and you're trying to improve the breed, I have seen people that eventually told me, hey, Raul, I came in here for the money. Please don't hate me for saying that. In fact, I actually respect them a little bit more because 95% of everybody coming in is coming in for the money, but 99% don't admit it, right? So, they've told me, don't judge me on that. He's like, but there's just no way I'm going to be able to get my wife on board if this isn't something that's profitable. And to a certain extent, you have to understand, right? And I've seen these people actually create a better product, do health testing, because in their mind, they need to outcompete and beat out all these other people that, are competing against them. And so they're becoming masters of their craft. They're improving, both the picture taking and everything else in between. They're even throwing dogs in the ring. And so after a while, you see that and you're like, okay, I'm well aware that 95% of the people coming in are coming in for the money. But there are some people that are coming in for the money that are actually doing it right.
Right.
Versus, oh, I'm a breed Gucci with Bugatti You know, what's crazy is whenever I hear people talking that way, when you really look at them and you talk to them and you've been around this business long enough, you realize they're nothing more than puppets. Getting, you know, the puppeteer has their hand so far up their ass that they're nothing more than puppets, repeating what, you know, eating away at the dream that puppeteer keeps dangling in front of them like a carrot, right?
Yeah. Well, I think people are just, they're not hip to this right here. They're not privy to this. They don't realize. So you think you come in and you can just ride up against somebody else and they got a lot going on, and then you're like, well, you know, that's my guy, da, da, da. And then you know, and you're trying to ride the wave, but the whole time you're being rode.
Oh yeah, you're being rode, and the way you're being rode is they sell you a dream. And what happens is when
Because you're ignorant, you're uneducated.
Yeah, when you're sold the dream, what I've seen people do is, okay, this is the wave I'm gonna ride. So you buy from said breeder that sold you this dream. Then you turn around and you scream at the four, you know, north, south, east, and west about how great these dogs are. If you really sit down and think about it, the only person winning is that one breeder that sold you the dream to begin with. Because they sold you a dog and you're giving them free marketing forever and a day. And I promise you, the minute you have a litter and you're asking them to help you to sell that litter, you already know what the answer is going to be, right? It's not going to happen. Why would they? And so this is why it's so empirically important to stand on your own 2 feet in this community and to improve yourself. If you're out here taking pictures and you're not the best at taking pictures, and a year or two has gone by and you're still breeding, and every time people ask about pictures, you keep saying, oh, I'm not the best at pictures. Here's a little soul searching. What it means is you've been a lazy ass for the last year and a half, 2 years. Your business is not going to get off the ground because you're not improving at taking pictures. You probably haven't even tried. You probably haven't taken either an online class or even looked at a 1-hour YouTube video to show you how to take better videos and better pictures. And so these are little clues that nobody has to tell you, that you could figure for yourself that, you know, you're just not raising your game. Because whether we like it or not, social media is here to stay. And it's only getting bigger with every passing minute. If you're not taking good pictures, good videos, telling people your dog's story, eventually you're not going to have any interest on your dog, man. Bottom line.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, you know, there's timing is everything too. I can't wait till we get into our own stories about, you know, how we got into this. But, you know, I didn't punt, but I had to step back and figure out where I was going and get a game plan together and, you know, and change some things up. But I've done
Mike,
that.
why don't you tell us why you got into breeding? What were your first impressions when you joined the community? Did you jump on the first thing that came by, or you took your time? You're talking about you didn't punt. Give us a little bit of insight as to what you went through as far as why you got into breeding and what you first saw.
Yeah. All right. I'd love to tell you all that story. So I've had a love for dogs. It started with pit bulls. Of course, I loved all dogs. Had a passion for pit bulls growing up, and as I got a little older, got into digging around, and I came across one of these bullies, and I was like, man, this is everything I wish that my pit bull was. When I got around the temperament and the different things, I was like, for what I need, for my needs, this is a better dog. This fits my lifestyle better. I really like this dog, you know, and I fell in love with the breed, and this is exactly what happened. So I got to digging around online trying to figure out, you know, how I can educate myself. And I got to looking on the internet and getting on YouTube and came across a few different people, looked into a few different type of so-called educators.
Okay.
And this was almost, what, Raul, maybe 4 or 5 years ago now, 4 years ago now. And I came across QBN. And I said,
But
man,
but was QBN the first thing that you came across?
no,
Okay. So talk. I
no,
mean, come on, give us a little bit of in depth. We already know you
yeah.
came across QBN. What else did you come across?
Well, I don't want to put anybody's name out there, but I did come across some other people that had videos and had material and call themselves educating about dogs. And what I started doing was I started checking out what they were saying versus what you were saying versus what other people were saying. And I
Right.
kind of started trying to calculate where I felt comfortable, where I felt like I was getting good information. So I started fact checking, started looking
Okay.
up stuff. I'd get on your show and you start talking about these different things I had never heard of. And I said, man, I don't even know if this is real or not, or this is some internet thing or what. So I get to fact checking.
Okay.
And that's when I realized that I found my home at QBN. I found something that I felt like I could trust what was being told to me, and everything I kept checking behind you on was adding up. So that's where I decided to dig in and make this my home. Now I spent 2 years educating myself about the breed and watching every video I could, learning all I could everywhere I could get it before I ever thought about getting a dog.
Okay.
Yep. And I would recommend that to anybody because even then, now Raul will tell you if you don't already know, I dug in. I dug in hard. I mean, I combed over
So
content. I've got notebooks full of
so
information
Mike,
that I wrote down and really logged
Mike.
my journey trying to learn about it all. And I still jumped the gun.
So Mike, let me ask you something. So what was one of the things, if you can share, be very generic because we don't want to throw anybody's name out there, but what's one of the things that was being said out there that when you fact checked, you were like, oh my God, like this is such a freaking lie?
For one was some of the supplements they were using, the quality of the supplements.
Oh wow.
Another one was diet. They were repping dog food brands and different things that I thought were trash. Um, Another thing, I noticed they were saying things about our breed that were inaccurate. Calling it a pit bully and things like that. Not
Ah,
really
okay,
giving
yeah,
it
back
not really
then.
giving it its respect as its own breed. Um, I didn't hear any talk about breed type. I didn't hear any talk about how to properly give your dog good nutrition. I didn't hear any of that stuff. And so what I was hearing was about half-assed and pretty generic. It really felt like them doing more showing off what they have. Look what I've got. Look what I've done. Look at my dogs. Look at my kennel, and not
Right.
really educating. And then the stuff that I felt like was educating me didn't check out.
Wow, interesting. Okay. Fair
Yeah.
enough. I will say I have found because I get a lot of our viewers whenever they see something they'll take a screenshot and send it immediately to me. There's been quite a few people that are doing lives, and a lot of times they're repeating exactly what I'm saying, almost. I would say almost verbatim, like they'll use 8 of the 10 words I used in the same sequence, which is hard. It's really hard to do unless you're trying to copy somebody. Um, and not because my content is, you know, my content is my content because it's been my style and my way of doing things from day one. But it's really amazing how in the content creation world, how whenever anything is seen as successful, how it is copied over and over and over again. I remember when I came out with Nuvet, there was nobody selling Nuvet. Now everyone and their sister's trying to sell Nuvet. When I first came out, nobody was talking about nutrition and what to feed and this and that. I did. Now everybody wants to be a canine dietary specialist, right? And,
Right.
all I say is, look, I understand, man. A lot of people don't value authenticity or anything like that. But the
Well,
only thing I will,
I want to add this to it. I want to add this to it, Raul. So it was like I said, the misinformation and really just felt like them glamorizing what they had. But what it was missing for me is because I was looking for the education.
right,
That was my thing. That was my issue. So like I was trying to learn about these dogs and learn about our breed, and I felt like I couldn't get that itch scratched.
right.
And that was what I found here that made me stay here.
So
I
let me
felt like
ask you, why did you need to learn about the breed when you were coming in? What was your motivation coming in? Was it money? What was it?
no, for me, I intended to be able to self-sustain my kennel business at some point. But
Okay,
for me, like I said, I've always had a passion for pit bulls, and I
okay,
felt like just like bullies are still evolving, I feel like pit bulls evolved into what became American bullies.
right.
And some people stayed in the pit bull world and some people didn't. For me, the bullies became my desired evolution in that process. And so when I got in, I said, well, I want these
Okay,
dogs and I've always wanted to breed and I want to do it right. So I want to be educated. I want to have the knowledge so that I go about this and I'm not tripping over my own feet and going to shows and sounding like an idiot and all this stuff. I want to be able to talk shop. I want to be able to learn about genetics and
sure.
that was it for me. And I've told you this before, but when I finally came out of my shell after 2 years and started getting dogs um, and going to shows and things like that, I realized that I had dug in a little further than I gave myself credit for. And when I got out and got to talking to people at the shows and stuff, I realized like a lot of people are not educated on the dogs, on
And
the breed. And then I
isn't it
realized
isn't
like
it surprising? Yeah.
it is, and it was uplifting for me because I realized in that moment in real time, I realized like, oh, I put that work in now.
Yeah.
I felt like I had put in enough work to where now I'm educated. Now I know what I'm talking about. Brought my confidence up as a breeder, and as a guy that shows dogs, I felt like I had put that work in. I
Let
felt
me
good
do a
about it.
quick parenthesis. Let me do a quick parenthesis on you coming into breeding, Mike, real quick. Um, how long have you been around QBN, Mike?
4 years.
4 years. And you just dropped your first litter, right?
Yeah.
How long ago?
5 days ago.
5 days ago. So,
Yep.
I mean, I am sure that you heard me talk about, whelping at, so many lives that we've spoken on them or answered questions and so on. How prepared did you feel you were? And I know it's like jumping out of an airplane. I can
Yeah.
prepare you all you want, but there's nothing like it until it happens. However, how prepared did you feel you were when it was time?
That's a great analogy about jumping out of an airplane because that's what it feels like. Um, I'll tell you what, you can only be so prepared to jump out of an airplane. But honestly, I really felt like I was prepared as I could be. And
Okay.
for me, one of the most beautiful parts of this experience so far has been putting things in confirmation that I had been learning all this time. And I needed this experience under my belt. It feels great. It's been a lot. My wife will tell you, I've slept on the floor in the whelping room since they were born.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah. I've either been watching them on the camera, or I've been in that whelping room since they were born. Matter of fact, I'm fixing to have to carry this phone and go in there now.
Good thing, man.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
let me ask
yeah.
you,
So
Mike.
to answer your question, though, I
Yeah,
felt like I was prepared as I could be, and I've already thanked you for it, but thank you again, because there's a lot of moving parts to whelping a litter, and to
for
taking
sure.
care of a pregnant mother, and to take care of a mother during birth, and knowing what to do if something happens and the puppy's not breathing, or it needs an incubator, or what to give the mom, after she gives birth, and what to look for. And there's a lot to it. And if you
Definitely.
don't educate yourself, you're gonna take a loss, and you're gonna regret it.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you came in for money, every time you lose a puppy, not only is it heartbreaking, but you're going to be losing money.
We had 2 out of the 11 puppies that came out with their tongues out.
Oh no.
And they had got busted out of the sack being born.
And what you
So
do?
they so I came out, and they're not breathing. Had to fling them downhill, suck
Uh huh.
their mouths out,
That's it.
uh, rub them down aggressively, and wake them up, snap them out of it. And that was a magical experience for me. I was able to resuscitate one, and my wife resuscitated the other.
Wow, that's great, man. You were
Yeah,
able to
so
share that with your wife.
yeah, they all lived. And it's funny you say it like that, because it was hard for me to hand her that puppy and let her do it, and she did so good. It's not hard because I didn't trust her, but because I was just all over this thing, and it was such a
Right.
big deal. And she's like, "Baby, hand me the puppy, I got it." And I was like, "All right," And she handled her
Uh,
business, man. I'm so proud of her.
well, Mike, one of the reasons, one of the reasons why I brought you in as a co-host, right? Are you able to hear me?
Yeah,
Okay. It's one of the reasons why I brought you in as a co-host, right? And
tell me.
it was for you to create contrast with me, because I've been doing this now for 10 years now, and you're more of a newer breeder, and this way they can get perspective from both an older, or not older, but a breeder has been doing it a little bit longer, and and a newer breeder like yourself, right? So you almost are like a perfect um, guest, even though you're the co-host, for me to ask these next series of questions. I want to ask
Yeah.
you, um, when you first came into breeding, how much involvement was your wife initially going to have, or was this more of a you getting in type of thing? And now that you've kind of moved forward a little bit, got a little notch under your belt, how do you see things going forward?
Yeah. So when I decided that I was gonna get it, when I was gonna get into this for real, and
Right?
it become a lifestyle, I sat down with my wife. We talked about it, and I said, "Baby, I don't believe that somebody can do this right with a partner without them being in it with them." And so, I had to sit down and tell her, like, "Hey, this is gonna go some years before we see any light. We're gonna put in work. We're going to be doing research. We're going to be learning about the breed. We're going to be going through all this." And I guess Raul dropped off. I hope everybody can still hear me. But let's see if he's coming back. Yeah, he'll come back in. But anyway, wanted to see if there's pictures back. There's Hollywood. Keep going. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
just
didn't know
keep
if
going
you.
with your story, bro.
Yeah, he's probably
He's
buffing,
probably in a
but
bad area because when he's
anyway,
driving, he has that a lot.
Yeah, when I got my wife in, man, and realized it was going to be something we were going to do, it was going to take both of us. I started digging into the education, and I told her, hey, it's going to be some years before anything comes out of this. We're going to be putting in and putting in and putting in, and nothing's going to come out of it.
Oh
And
yeah.
you know, I needed her to be on board with that, and she was. She supported me.
Sometimes that's hard, man, especially to ask somebody to do something for years knowing you're not gonna get nothing out of it. And that could
Right.
be a hard thing, especially when it's not really their passion, it's yours at first,
That's right. That's right.
you know.
And I like the way you just said that, because it's reached a point now where she loves our dogs, and
Exactly.
and she loves what we do in the community, and she loves the showing, and she loves getting in there and getting involved in the social media. She's gotten to where she's found her place in all of this. Besides just being by my side, she's found her place in our program, and it's really been a beautiful thing to watch her work. She's really exceptional at everything she does in this, man, and I couldn't do it without her.
Well, luckily you have that because not a lot of people have that, or not a lot of people are able to have that. And luckily your wife wanted to do it with you and go
Yeah.
on board with you and want to do it.
Yeah.
Because you hear
Yeah.
all these other stories about people like just jumping in it and not getting with their wife at first, which is a bad mistake. Like, you should
Yeah.
never. I would never recommend that, man. I know Rawls beats that horse a lot, but it's true. If you don't have somebody with you that wants to do that with you, it's going to be a very long and hard road for you because both of you have to pick up slack in certain areas in different parts of life when it comes to this,
Oh,
especially being a breeder.
yeah,
It's a
that's
lifestyle for sure.
it is, man. And I think he puts it best when he says that you know, you talk your spouse into it, or your significant other, or whatever. You talk them into it, and you're like, hey babe, look, we're going to be able to make all this money off these puppies. Everything's going to be great. Don't worry, we'll put this 10 grand in. It's all we got, but we're gonna get something out of it, you know. And then
Yeah.
1 year in, 2 year in, they're still putting in money and they ain't got nothing out of it. And it's like, hold on, this ain't what you said.
Hey, can
and
you guys hear
and
me?
yeah, I can
Yes,
hear you
sir.
now.
Okay, my apologies, guys. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just getting everybody caught up on this. But what happens is, I think that's the case, Kyle. They sell their partner a dream, and then and they
That's
deliver
where
on
the
it.
that's where it is. You sell them a pipe dream and don't tell
Right.
them the hardships and what's going to really happen. It's going to be way more headache than it is uh, benefit and all this money flowing and oh, we're going to buy this for 10,000 and this for 5,000 and we're going to make 150. It just that's not how it works.
It's not.
No.
It's not that easy. But
Well,
go
let
ahead.
me intercede there real quick. Kyle, by the way, handle the logos, man. I can't do them while I'm driving.
Yeah, I got
All
you. Not a
right,
problem.
thanks. Real quick, let me just say this, guys. Um, Making money while you're breeding. If you're not updating your facilities, people are seeing this, so it's going to make you lag behind. Where you are really going to start seeing that you're going to make a dollar profitable for you, truly, is usually at or around year number 5 into this. You got to keep in mind, it takes 2 years for your females to be ready to be bred around there. And so the next generation, is going to be another 2 years. And then right when you're getting ready, or your dogs are getting ready to enter that third generation, that's when you may see something, right? So
Yeah.
I don't want to sit here and say you're never going to make anything. No, you will. Um, but it's usually on or about year number 5 is what I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Yeah.
when you first you got to get your feet up under you, and then you're going to spend the next couple of years after you get your feet up under you, which is 2 years in, just
Right?
trying to get some of the money back and get out of the red.
Yeah.
And before you can
Yeah.
get into the black, it's going to be year 5 for sure.
Yeah. Year 5. And in year 5, you're seeing money coming in. And then by the time you're hitting year 5, whether you like it or not, you're going to have to outcross if you were doing everything in-house. So you're probably going to have to spend again on some studs and whatnot. Can you make 6 figures, right? Because a lot of people, they want to know this and that. The reality is you can. It's really not that far-fetched. What is far-fetched, however, is thinking that you're going to do nothing for 5 years but breed puppies, and that by year 5, poof, it's going to happen. And nothing could be further from the truth. The fact is, you better know how to take pictures. You better know how to, show your dogs off in social media. You better know how to pick the right dogs so that you can take pictures and show them off in social media. So if you don't learn your craft and you're just pumping out pups, by the time year number 5 rolls around, you're just ready to hang everything up.
I think that's so true.
I wanted to mention one more thing about year number 5 since you're on it, Raul. A lot of people don't realize you're just catching up from all those years of paying for all this stuff as well. There's a lot of money that you've already spent. You're not in the black yet, or the red, or whatever.
Out of
You're
the
not
red,
in the
yeah.
green. Yeah, you're not out of the red yet. You still got all those expenditures. Everything that you paid for, all those years with those dogs, all the vet bills, all the food, everything.
I can tell you, I have seen people say that they have an amazing female, and that female ends up having pyometria, for example, which is pus in the uterus or infection in the uterus. And they will fight tooth and nail to get that female impregnated. And you see them spending thousands of dollars. And my thing is this: if you're below 5 years in breeding and you have a female with pyometria, I'm not saying get rid of the dog. She's an angel. You got to take care of that dog. But get rid of that dog in your breeding program. You have to. You cannot chase trying to think that you're going to fix pyometria. The only person that's going to win there is going to be your vet. And they're really good at selling you hopium. A lot of hopium is what they sell you. And once you get hooked on that hopium, you're going to go in the hole a good 5,000 or 6,000 before you realize that it wasn't worth the 5,000 or 6,000 for the 2 or 3 pups you got.
Right. I think you touched on something real important for people to know right there, Raul. You're going to bump your head. Listen, all that educating I did and all that being careful and really trying to get ahead of the game and all that, I still bump my head a bunch. And you're going to bump your head. You're going to bump your head real bad. And you'll be lucky to be able to sustain it if you don't get some education on this stuff. Like he's saying, all that stuff, when you're vet, not a shot at anybody's vet, but veterinarians in general are going to take you on a ride if you don't know anything about what you're doing at all.
Listen, and we've spoken at this at length. It's like anything else, folks. The more ignorant you are in something, the more that human being, whether they have a doctor's license, a veterinary license, I don't care. The more stupid or ignorant you are in a particular topic, and they realize it, the more they're going to take advantage of you. This is why it's so important to at least have a working knowledge of things, so that you can tell when somebody's trying to take advantage of you. If you notice, big breeders would never say their female had pyometria. That's another thing. You can't model yourself after big breeders, because here's the thing: you're the new person on the block, or you're new into breeding. You're not going to have as much leeway as that breeder that has been established. that breeder has been doing this for a while, and he has a following, and he has people that find him or her to be credible, or they love their dogs. And you'd be surprised how much leeway people give others whenever factors like those accumulate, right? The truth of the matter is, breeders in general, and particularly the big breeders, they have learned in their minds that marketing means only say the good things I want people to hear about us. And don't be transparent. Don't sit there and say, this girl has pyometria and this male produces puppies with bad back legs, and so on and so forth. Because they realize that all this information is going to cost them money, right? That's what they're perceiving. So if you're brand new and you're trying to follow one of these guys or gals, you're going to run straight into a brick wall. First issue you're going to have at hand is they themselves will become your number one predator, because they see you as green, not knowing anything, and they know they can sell you a dog and take your money, which that's their first thing. And secondly, you're going to promote them for free. This is why I have spoken at length that one of the things that Mike did when he came, before he came to QBN, was that he cross-checked what I said. And I have always said, not just me, anybody speaking, you should cross-check every and anything they're talking about. Okay, I'm a human being like anybody else, and one day I may be wrong on something, and I have no issues in being corrected. I don't have that type of ego where I can't. Okay, unfortunately, you guys have even seen on my very lives, I've brought people in that are supposedly big breeders, and their ego is so big that they will sit here and lie to you straight to your face, knowing full well that everybody's got a phone and you can prove them wrong. But their ego is so big that they're the only ones in the room believing their own lies.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I will say this, Raul. Honestly, there's been things that we spoke on many years ago, like when you first got into doing the lives, that you've changed over the years as well and told everybody why. There's
Yeah.
been a lot of that you've had to do because you found either better ways of doing it or you were corrected in some way.
Yes.
That's evolution, baby. That's what it's all about.
That is. It's evolution, man. I don't care if you've been doing this for 40 years. I was just told the other day, oh, this dude has been doing this for 40 years. Yeah, well, he dropped the goddamn ball. And so I don't care if he's been doing it for 50 years. If he dropped the ball, he dropped the ball.
That's right.
This is why you got to constantly be evolving and improving on what you're doing. So
that's why I said earlier, man, you got to stay humble.
Yeah, bro. And let me tell you, man, breeding will humble you. I don't care who you are. There are big breeders here that have never told anyone that they lost an entire litter. It will happen. And it's, you know, a lot of times it could be something as simple as the dog got a virus because she sniffed in the wind. And there was nothing that you did wrong. It's just a virus that afflicted the dog. Game over. It's that simple. You know. It happens, absolutely, man. So, you know, I don't have much more for tonight, Mike. I don't know if you want to add anything, Kyle. I'm gonna need you to close us out, bro. Unless Mike wants to add something, but I apologize, guys. Last week, I couldn't make the live, and today, to be honest with you, I shouldn't even be on the road driving, to be honest with you. But, you know, like anything else in life, a ball was dropped. And when that happens, you know, you got to pick it up and you got to run with it. And so make sure to tune in next Monday at 8 PCST. we'll be back as we always have been. Kyle, you can start it off, man.
Hey, you good on the outro?
Yeah, it's on the outro. If not,
All
it's
right,
that
just
right
making sure.
video below the outro. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. It's your boy Hollywood Holland, your boy in the back of the queue, and we're catching you on the next one. Boom, Money Mike.
Michael Higginson, man, with Creek Bank Kettle out of Arkansas. I just wanted to say, man, it's an honor to be here. It's an honor for y'all to be on this journey with me, and it's been a hell of a ride, man. And I'm grateful. I truly am grateful for everybody and all the friends and extended family we've made along the way in this journey, and for all the education I've gotten right here. I'm a grateful person, man. So from your co-host with the most, see you on the next one.
All right, man. Hey, guys, nothing but love. Like I said, unfortunately, I'm driving now. We'll be going back to our normal everything starting next Monday. It's been Raw from the queue. I'll be catching you on the next one.
We are going for a whole hour, straight dog talk and the song. Jump on in and speculate. Show up on time, don't be weak and late. We are community, so don't hate, and learn to cooperate.
We winged it pretty good, didn't we?
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. When we were doing the live, everything was going great. But like always, my mom called me right then and there in the
Hey,
middle of
hold
the
on.
fucking
Hey,
live.
hold on. Hold on, Raul. This thing's not. Raul, hold on.
We're still on the live, ain't we?
I am trying to end it.
We are going for a whole hour, straight dog talk and the song. Jump on in and speculate. Show up on time, don't be weak and late. We are community, so don't hate,